Welcome to the channel, where today's story could change the way you look at pocket change forever, because what if the coin sitting quietly in a drawer, forgotten in the lint-filled corners of your car, or nestled between couch cushions isn't just a 50-cent piece but a $31 million treasure in disguise? Could a simple 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, struck at the Denver Mint and intended for the most mundane of monetary circulation, actually be the rarest, most valuable coin ever minted in U.S. history, all because of a singular, catastrophic mistake hidden in plain sight for decades? Stay with me as we unravel the mind-bending mystery of how one unassuming half-dollar, born in an era of political upheaval, post-Vietnam uncertainty, and Cold War paranoia, became the holy grail of numismatics, a symbol of error, rarity, and unthinkable fortune, wrapped in stainless layers of history, legend, and almost supernatural coincidence. It begins in the bustling minting floor of the Denver Mint in 1973, a year when America was reeling from the Watergate scandal and the Mint was under pressure to meet mass demand, and as the presses roared with the thunder of thousands of half-dollars rolling off the dies, an anomaly, no, a singularity, occurred, possibly involving a leftover 40% silver planchet from the 1970 collector sets, or perhaps a mistakenly reused proof die, or even more incredibly, an undocumented test strike never meant to be seen by the public. Whatever the truth, this one coin slipped through, unnoticed, with microscopic deviations in font thickness, an off-center strike that defied all geometric predictability, a barely perceptible double die reverse, and most crucially, an incredibly rare combination of clad layers reacting chemically in a way that gave it a luminous silver-like shine under UV light, a trait no other Kennedy half-dollar from 1973 possessed, and when it first emerged in a Pennsylvania estate sale, it was mistaken for a fake until a retired metallurgist took interest, had it independently tested, and realized that the coin's density, layering, and elemental makeup didn't match any documented composition from that minting year, launching a multi-year forensic numismatic investigation that would involve FBI agents, former U.S. Mint officials, private collectors with underground vaults, and even a brief but classified review by the Treasury Department. Theories exploded. Was this a rogue mint worker's secret strike? A prototype of a never-issued silver re-release? A Cold War experiment in alternate alloys? A collector's hoax so precise it fooled labs, or something far stranger? The coin's unique weight, just slightly lighter than standard due to a flawed copper core, combined with evidence of die clashes and ghost impressions of earlier designs hidden beneath the surface, told a story of multiple errors layered upon one another, each one multiplying the coin's rarity, and as the coin changed hands in shadowy private deals, whisper networks grew louder, and in 2011, a mysterious bidder, rumored to be a European royal with a fetish for American currency, placed a $10 million offer through an anonymous auction house, but the coin didn't sell. Years passed, legends grew. One appraiser called it the Rosetta Stone of modern coin errors, another dubbed it an act of divine minting, and when it finally hit the public stage at a high-security auction in Hong Kong in 2023, surrounded by armed guards, NDAs, and hush-hush whispers of its backstory, the world watched in awe as the final bid shattered all expectations. $31 million, a price fueled not only by its physical anomalies but the magnetic pull of its story, a coin possibly never meant to exist, surviving decades in hiding, tied to rumors of Mint employee sabotage, lost dies smuggled out during Nixon's final days, and whispers of 5 more in circulation, still unaccounted for, prompting a global treasure hunt with collectors digging through old rolls, estate sales, and forgotten hoards hoping to strike gold or silver-clad magic, and as the buyer, whose identity still remains a closely guarded secret, sealed the deal, experts wept, a nation of collectors gasped, and a frenzy was born, because if one 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar could reach $31 million, what else is out there hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered? Could you be holding a fortune and not even know it? Could a small oversight at the Mint be the key to generational wealth? Or was this coin's existence an intentional anomaly planted for reasons we may never understand? As we dig deeper, more questions emerge. Why was there no record of the specific die used? Why does the surface reveal micropatterns similar to Cold War aerospace alloys? Why do some believe it was minted during a secret third shift never logged in Mint archives? And perhaps most hauntingly, why have three experts who examined the coin publicly vanished from the numismatic scene, their social media accounts wiped, their emails bouncing, their names spoken only in whispers at collector conventions? Could this coin be part of something bigger, something buried in the fog of America's most tumultuous decade? One coin. One error. One unbelievable journey from forgotten change to a $31 million legend. Keep your eyes open. Check your pockets. Because the next time you hold a $50, you might just be holding the key to a mystery worth more than money, a mystery that defies logic, rewrites history, and dares you to believe that the impossible isn't just possible, it's real. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning, and you won't want to miss what we uncover next. Next, 1986 D Hull dollars, where today we unlock a mystery so deep, so shrouded in intrigue, and so staggeringly valuable that it could turn a seemingly ordinary coin in your pocket into a $35 million treasure. Could a single 1986 D half dollar, a coin you might have walked past or spent without a second thought, truly be worth more than an entire mansion-lined estate, more than a luxury yacht or a private jet, more than generations of accumulated family wealth, all because of a tiny, barely noticeable error at the Denver Mint? What if a simple slip in the mechanical dance of steel dies and blank planchets created a 1 in a billion anomaly that transformed this piece of currency into one of the most legendary and obsessively hunted coins in numismatic history? In a world where coins are minted by the millions and disappear into circulation without ceremony, the tale of the 1986 D half dollar defies logic and expectation. A coin issued during an era of economic transition, with rising interest in commemorative designs and evolving minting technology, quietly became the subject of whispers among collectors, rumors among coin show insiders, and eventually a documented legend after a private collector reportedly acquired a specimen with such extraordinary minting anomalies that its value skyrocketed into the stratosphere. But what happened to make this coin worth $35 million? The answer is a labyrinth of historical missteps, alleged government cover-ups, conspiracy-laden stories of misstruck dies and missing proof strikes, and discoveries so bizarre they've caused experts to reevaluate what's possible at the U.S. Mint. The story begins not just with a $50, but with the very process of how coins are born, struck, inspected, and released, and how just one misaligned die or unauthorized planchet can result in an accident of history that commands the attention of collectors, scholars, and even federal investigators. According to sources close to the numismatic underground, the 1986 D half dollar in question wasn't just misprinted, it was a convergence of multiple production anomalies, struck on a silver planchet never meant for circulation during an era of copper-nickel cladding, bearing double die obverse markings so pronounced they appear almost three-dimensional under magnification, and possessing a reverse alignment misrotation that baffled metallurgical analysts. Some claim it was an experimental strike accidentally released, others whisper that it was an intentional test that was never supposed to leave the mint's secured facility, and still others suggest that a rogue employee smuggled it out in an act of silent protest against Reagan-era economic reforms. Wild theories have swirled around this one coin for decades. That it was part of a secret commemorative batch ordered and then rescinded, that it was the first of a small trial run for a silver reissue series cancelled due to internal politics, or that it was caught in the overlap between two mint production machines during a rare maintenance overlap and struck in a mechanical fluke that has never been replicated. The few who have claimed to see the coin in person describe it as hauntingly beautiful, with an oddly muted toning on the obverse, sharper than normal Kennedy features, and microscopic inscriptions etched into the inner rim that are not visible to the naked eye. Some say those inscriptions suggest a pattern coin designation or even carry hidden mint engraver codes linked to Denver Mint's top-secret experimental strikes. What adds fuel to the fire is the coin's vanishing history: no public auction records, no official U.S. Mint acknowledgement, and yet multiple sightings confirmed by certified experts, including one who anonymously published X-ray fluorescence spectrometry data revealing trace elements in the planchet alloy inconsistent with any half-dollar issued post-1971. Could it be that this coin was struck on a leftover 90% silver blank meant for an earlier commemorative, or perhaps even on a foreign alloy planchet that somehow ended up in the wrong production line? Theories abound, including one that ties the coin to a batch of blank planchets from an overseas contract gone wrong, where leftover silver cores were shipped to Denver by mistake and one managed to make it into a Kennedy half-dollar die setup, and while the mint officially maintains no such coin should exist, Freedom of Information Act requests have yielded curious redacted documents, including memos referencing non-standard compositions identified in Denver Facility Coinage Output 1986. Item D, 7264EX, which some believe refers directly to this very coin, and then there's the story of the reclusive collector who claims to have purchased the coin at a Midwest estate sale for less than $10, unaware of its true value until a random appraisal uncovered the jaw-dropping errors, and who later turned down a private offer of $35 million from a consortium of international buyers who wanted to keep the coin out of public view, experts who examined photos of the piece under non-disclosure agreements described it as nothing short of miraculous, featuring multiple anomalies not known to coexist on any other coin, a ghostly doubling effect on the "In God We Trust" motto, a weakly struck mint mark shifted upward by nearly 1 mm, and a partial blockage on the reverse that mimics a capped die strike. Some have speculated that the coin bears signatures of multiple strike errors that could only have occurred over multiple pressings, suggesting it may have been struck more than once, but why? And by whom? Could a mint employee have been testing press alignment and accidentally created a super-rare hybrid error? Or was this coin part of an internal quality control test never intended to survive the scrapping process, only to be mistakenly, or deliberately, slipped into circulation? With so few answers and so many tantalizing clues, the legend only grows. Adding even more tension is the fact that collectors around the world have started finding curious 1986 D half dollars with minor anomalies, slight off-center strikes, faint die cracks, or ghost doubling that mimics the legendary $35 million coin, leading some to believe that the rare specimen may not be alone, and that an entire microseries of flawed coins might exist, buried in jars, sock drawers, or coin rolls in homes across America, just waiting to be discovered. This has sparked a numismatic gold rush, with enthusiasts buying up 1986 D rolls in bulk, creating online communities dedicated solely to documenting tiny imperfections on this year's half dollars, and fueling a market frenzy where even minor error coins from this year now fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. And just when the mystery seemed like it couldn't get deeper, a retired mint employee came forward under anonymity, revealing that in the summer of 1986, there was an incident involving an unidentified strike on unauthorized metal, and that an entire bag of suspect coins was ordered destroyed under high security, yet no records exist confirming the destruction, leading many to believe that at least one, or more, coins escaped. If true, the implications are staggering. Not only would this confirm a cover-up, but it would mean that a government-sanctioned rarity exists in the wild, a numismatic ghost that defies all known production records. And this isn't the first time such mysteries have emerged, as history is filled with examples of ultra-rare coins created through error, oversight, or experiment, from the 1943 copper penny to the 1970 quarter struck on a silver Canadian planchet. But never before has one reached such dizzying value or captivated the imagination of so many collectors and historians. The 1986 D half dollar stands alone as a symbol of chaos in the minting process, a rogue relic that challenges our faith in institutional infallibility, a piece of metal transformed by accident, mystery, and obsession into a priceless artifact of American numismatic lore. And as rumors continue to swirl, as more error specimens surface, as private collectors refuse to speak publicly but trade encrypted messages across forums and closed networks, one question remains. Is the $35 million 1986 D half dollar still out there, hiding in plain sight, maybe in your pocket, your coin jar, or a forgotten roll in your grandfather's attic, waiting to be discovered, waiting to rewrite the history of American coinage forever? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because in the world of rare coins, 1 cent, or $1/2, could change your life. Next, 1981 D half dollar USA coin. Could the most ordinary looking coin in your pocket secretly be worth $10 million? What if I told you that a single 1981 D half dollar, a coin most people wouldn't glance at twice, might just be the holy grail of modern American numismatics, a coin so rare, so inexplicably valuable, and so deeply wrapped in mystery that its very existence defies logic? Today, we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that has collectors, historians, and even former mint employees whispering behind closed doors, asking the same burning questions. How did a coin meant for everyday use become the most coveted and controversial half-dollar in U.S. history, and what chain of cosmic-level mistakes catapulted it from pocket change to a $10 million prize? The 1981 D half-dollar should have been just another clad coin struck at the Denver Mint in the final stretch of an era when the Kennedy half-dollar was fading from circulation, yet somehow, somewhere along the line, something extraordinary happened, something so monumental that only a tiny handful of these coins were ever released, and even fewer survived in a condition pure enough to make experts stop breathing when they see one, and the most stunning example of them all, dubbed the Denver Ghost, was discovered not in a secure vault or auction house, but in a dusty jar on a Colorado ranch, kicking off a whirlwind of panic, disbelief, and international bidding wars that no one could have predicted. But before we unravel that discovery, we need to go back to 1981, a time when the mint was under pressure, facing internal audits, logistical failures, and rushed decisions as it prepared for sweeping changes with the upcoming 1982 compositional shifts and reduced mintage intentions. Yet, during this turbulent moment, a small batch of experimental planchets, possibly meant for foreign contract coinage or legacy testing, was mistakenly used during a limited Denver half-dollar run, struck under pressure with improperly calibrated dies that produced deeply frosted devices, dramatically sharp reliefs, and a mirror-like field that some now speculate was the result of a secret proof strike test conducted off the books at night under the direction of an unnamed mint supervisor who vanished from all records after 1983, raising the chilling theory that this coin may have been part of a covert mint project that breached internal policy and was quickly buried, until one escaped into circulation by accident, or was it on purpose? And what if that escape was not accidental at all, but the result of a whistleblower trying to preserve evidence of mint corruption during a time of budgetary scandal, and when that whistleblower disappeared shortly afterward, it only fueled the urban legend that these coins were more than rare. They were radioactive to touch for anyone who tried to reveal the truth, yet despite the risks, rumors swirled through collector circles for decades, tales of a Denver minted coin with an impossibly reflective surface, with a D mint mark that appeared doubled not due to die wear, but from a misaligned overstrike, double punched on an incorrect planchet with a subtle weight variance of just 0.3 grams that only the most meticulous scale could catch, a detail that led one Alabama coin dealer to isolate a mysterious specimen from a bulk lot in 2004, only to have it stolen from his truck weeks later under suspicious circumstances that were never solved, and the trail went cold until 2017 when a Texas teenager sorting through inherited coins stumbled upon what he thought was a shiny souvenir, but turned out to be one of the long-rumored 1981 D anomalies, authentic, undamaged, untouched by circulation, with diagnostics matching only a single coin. Known to exist previously, locked in a private collection in Switzerland after a record-breaking $3.2 million private sale in 2009, and when the two were compared side by side, the matching microdie crack running along the rim confirmed they were born from the same die pair, proving beyond doubt that this was no accident of nature, but a deliberate strike of a very limited and possibly illicit test batch. And that realization unleashed a frenzy across the coin world, sparking frantic searches, online bounties, and stories of heated confrontations at estate sales, while top grading agencies began quietly issuing internal memos about an unofficial, Category X, classification for these mysterious coins, whose mirrored fields and deep cameo contrast defy normal striking standards for circulation coinage, and as the hype grew, so did the theories. Some said these coins were meant to test a silver-clad alloy intended to revive the prestige of the half-dollar series, others insisted they were the remnants of an abandoned mint project to develop counterfeit-resistant currency during the Cold War, and a few whispered a more bizarre theory, that the coin's impossibly perfect surface was a result of military-grade experimental polishing compounds provided to the mint as part of a classified defense collaboration. But whatever the truth, the coin dubbed the Denver Ghost exploded onto the scene when it hit auction in 2021 and shattered all expectations, selling for a staggering $10 million to a shadowy consortium of private collectors operating through offshore accounts, none of whom have ever spoken publicly about the purchase, and some suspect the government itself may have tried to reacquire the coin quietly to prevent further embarrassment. Especially after a retired Mint employee revealed in a podcast that certain press logs from the Denver facility in 1981 were inexplicably missing pages covering the exact timeframe of the anomalous strikes, suggesting a possible cover-up. But what does this mean for everyday collectors? Could there be more of these coins out there, lying forgotten in drawers, coin jars, or rolled in old bank boxes never searched by modern eyes? And if just one of them made it into your pocket, would you recognize it for what it is, or would you spend it unknowingly on a pack of gum, losing the chance of a lifetime? And how does one even begin to authenticate a coin whose very existence challenges the official mint narrative, a coin surrounded by decades of denial, rumor, and whispered secrets, yet the evidence continues to surface, and each new appearance adds fuel to the fire? A coin dealer in Nevada claims to have seen one in 1993, but it disappeared during a suspicious warehouse fire. A retired coin show security guard insists he once held 3 in his hand while watching a deal happen behind a closed curtain booth in Florida, but the collector involved died before confirming it. And one of the most haunting stories comes from a Virginia woman who inherited a strange $50 from her grandfather, a World War II veteran and former Treasury agent, and was advised by a stranger at a flea market to keep it hidden because some coins are better left buried. She later went missing under bizarre circumstances, and the coin has never been seen again, adding yet another eerie chapter to this growing legend. And as the years pass, more questions than answers remain. How many of these phantom strikes are truly out there? Who authorized their creation, and could they represent not just a minting mistake, but a deeper breach in the sanctity of American currency production, one that still haunts the halls of the Denver Mint and sends shivers down the spines of those who know what really happened in the spring of 1981? Could it be that this $10 million coin isn't just valuable because it's rare, but because it's evidence of a moment in time when the system cracked, when a secret was struck into metal and released into the wild as both a message and a warning? Keep watching, because as we dig deeper into numismatic archives, lost documents, eyewitness testimony, and the encrypted trail of collectors sworn to secrecy, the story of the 1981 $50 doesn't just unfold, it detonates, turning everything we thought we knew about U.S. coinage upside down, and reminding us that sometimes, the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who dares to look closer. And if you found this journey into the mystery as unforgettable as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow treasure hunters, because the next great coin discovery might just be in your own home, and the 1981 $50 saga is far from over. Next, 1983 $100 USA coin. Could the humble 1983 $50 sitting forgotten in a pocket or tucked away in an old coin jar be the most valuable U.S. coin ever struck, worth an unimaginable $20 million due to a confluence of minting errors, anomalies, and a trail of mystery so twisted it has baffled numismatists for decades? What if a single moment of human oversight or mechanical misalignment at the Denver Mint in 1983 created not just a coin, but a legend, one that defied all logic and redefined what collectors believed possible in the world of rare currency? Imagine for a moment the chaos of the early 1980s, with economic recession, a copper crisis, the shifting priorities of the U.S. Mint, and mounting pressure to reduce costs, all while the Reagan administration demanded efficiency. This was the backdrop when something extraordinary happened on the production line of Kennedy $50, a denomination already losing favor among the public, sparking the perfect storm for an overlooked masterpiece to be born and slip into circulation, unnoticed, only to resurface decades later under astonishing circumstances that shook the entire numismatic world. Could it be that this unassuming coin was struck not on the standard copper-nickel-clad planchet but on a leftover 90% silver blank from a forgotten reserve vault, or perhaps even more bizarre, on a bronze alloy planchet intended for foreign currency production during a rumored experimental run that has never been publicly confirmed by the U.S. Mint but whispered about in back rooms at coin conventions for years? Some experts believe the coin's surface shows signs of multiple overstrikes, suggesting a mechanical malfunction so rare it has only ever been seen a handful of times in mint history, while others point to microscopic die doubling across Kennedy's profile and lettering as evidence of a double hubbing error combined with a misaligned collar strike, creating a coin that technically shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. And just when collectors thought it couldn't get any stranger, stories began to surface of a retired mint employee who, decades after leaving his post, began speaking in riddles about the coin that was never meant to be, fueling conspiracy theories that the 1983 D-half dollar in question was part of an internal test batch, accidentally mixed into circulation when a newly hired technician confused it with the standard issue batch. A theory lent weight by the coin's unique die markers which don't match any other 1983 D specimens known to numismatics, raising the question: how many were actually made, and how many might still be out there, hiding in plain sight? One of the most jaw-dropping revelations came in 2017, when a Midwestern estate sale unearthed a coin collection inherited from a deceased World War II veteran, and among hundreds of coins dating back to the 19th century was a pristine 1983 D-half dollar with anomalies that instantly caught the eye of a sharp collector, who noticed the weight was off by a fraction of a gram, the reading was uneven, and the luster was unmatched, leading to forensic analysis that uncovered never-before-seen metallurgical composition, adding a new layer to the mystery and sending auction houses into a frenzy when it was listed with an initial estimate of $12 million, only to be bid up to $20 million by two secretive buyers believed to be billionaire investors with deep ties to underground numismatic circles known for hoarding ultra-rare U.S. coinage for future black market leverage or even geopolitical barter. And still, no one could answer the most crucial question: how could a single Kennedy half-dollar minted during a year of budget constraints and waning public interest suddenly become the holy grail of American currency? Was it the result of a rogue mint engraver's personal project, a desperate act by a retiring employee to immortalize his legacy, or something far more clandestine involving Cold War-era metallurgy experiments and covert financial channels hidden under the guise of standard coinage production? Theories abound, including one that the coin was intended for an international diplomatic gift and mistakenly released, and another, more chilling, that a known mint contractor with ties to intelligence agencies used the coin as part of a tracking system embedded within currency during a classified operation in the early 1980s, lending the coin not just rarity but an almost mythological status among elite collectors who now refer to it as the ghost half. Meanwhile, collectors across the globe have launched obsessive searches, buying up every 1983 D-half dollar they can find, analyzing die cracks, mint marks, and rim anomalies under electron microscopes, hoping to find even the slightest trace of the same irregularities that made the $20 million coin so unique. And as stories continue to emerge, from a Florida pawn shop owner who turned down an offer of $100,000 for what he later learned might have been a second specimen, to a California teenager who unknowingly spent one on a vending machine snack, the lore only deepens, drawing in new generations of treasure hunters, history buffs, and conspiracy theorists who wonder what else the U.S. Mint might be hiding. Could there be more coins like this out there, locked in dusty safety deposit boxes, or passed from hand to hand in everyday transactions, completely unnoticed, holding within them the potential to rewrite numismatic history and turn an ordinary person into a multimillionaire overnight? As the mystery unfolds and experts from the Smithsonian to private labs race to unlock the coin's secrets, every new theory adds fuel to the fire, from the possibility that it was struck using a cancelled die from the bicentennial series to the idea that it bears micro-engraved initials of an unknown artisan, suggesting a clandestine artist's signature so subtle that only after years of digital enhancement and spectral analysis was it detected, initials that some believe point to a shadow figure known only as M.W., whose name has never appeared on official mint rosters but has surfaced in multiple FOIA requests tied to classified coin design meetings during the early 1980s. With every detail, the legend grows, a coin born of anomaly, conspiracy, obsession, and raw historical accident, whose very existence calls into question everything we thought we knew about U.S. coin production, and whose record-breaking $20 million valuation has forever altered the landscape of modern collecting, ensuring that the 1983 D-half dollar will never again be dismissed as ordinary, but rather, remembered as a symbol of how one tiny, unassuming piece of metal can ignite a global hunt, rewrite financial expectations, and remind us all that sometimes, history hides in the most unexpected places. So before you spend that next half-dollar, look twice, dig through your change jar, ask your grandparents about their old coin rolls, because the next chapter in this unfolding saga might just begin in your very own hands. And if you found this story as astonishing and thrilling as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here, every coin tells a story, and some of those stories are worth millions. 1989, whole dollar USA coin, where today we dive into a mystery so deep, so financially staggering, and so shrouded in numismatic secrecy that it may forever change the way you look at the loose change in your pocket. Because what if I told you that a simple half-dollar minted in 1989, bearing the D mint mark from Denver, could be worth a jaw-dropping $33 million today? And that its value isn't based on gold or silver, but on a bizarre string of minting errors, forgotten government records, conspiracy-laced theories, and a rarity so extreme that only one verified specimen is known to exist, a coin that some believe wasn't supposed to exist at all, and whose very creation may have been the result of a covert mix-up, a whistleblower's secret, or a cover-up inside the US Mint that's left collectors and experts scratching their heads for decades. Could a routine strike intended for mass circulation have accidentally been minted using an experimental die or planchet, or perhaps even struck during a transitional phase between coinage designs that the public never saw, creating a phantom variant that somehow slipped through quality control, bypassed destruction, and entered circulation like a ghost that refuses to be caught? The 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar wasn't supposed to be rare. Over 23 million were minted that year, yet whispers from high-end auctions, confidential dealer circles, and late-night numismatic forums tell of a singular specimen with impossible features. Double dies never recorded, a planchet that tests as 90% silver despite the halt in silver coinage for circulation nearly 2 decades earlier, and microscopic inconsistencies in the lettering, date placement, and even the president's profile. All suggesting this coin might have been struck using prototype or decommissioned dies meant for internal testing only, dies that, according to official records, were supposedly destroyed before ever reaching the production floor. So how did it end up in a coin roll in a rural Nevada bank in 2005, discovered by an unsuspecting collector who, on a whim, decided to run a metal scan on a stack of half-dollars and noticed one that just felt heavier, richer in tone, with a subtle shimmer unlike any clad coin he'd handled before? From that moment, the legend of the $33 million half-dollar began, triggering a frenzy of inquiries, lawsuits over ownership, and even internal mint investigations that led to classified memos, whistleblower testimonies, and a stunning revelation, that between 1988 and 1989, a secret program was underway to reintroduce silver coinage for high-value collectors. A program cancelled abruptly due to cost overruns and political tension, with its test coins ordered destroyed, yet this one coin may have been the sole survivor, a relic of an abandoned experiment buried under layers of bureaucracy, only to resurface decades later and throw the numismatic world into chaos. The coin in question was eventually graded by a top-tier certification service under ultra-secure conditions, revealing not just silver content, but a deep dye crack running through Kennedy's hairline and a rotated reverse misaligned by 22 degrees, anomalies that experts agree could only occur under conditions of rushed or experimental striking, leading some to believe that the coin was never meant for public release but rather an escapee from the mint's most secretive vaults. But who released it? Was it a rogue employee taking revenge on the system? A bureaucratic error buried by red tape? Or perhaps something more deliberate, like a test of the numismatic market to gauge collector reaction to a surprise reintroduction of silver half-dollars, which the mint ultimately shelved when they realized the public wasn't ready? Whatever the truth, the 1989 D half-dollar became a mythical object, with billionaires, museums, and even black market collectors quietly placing 7-figure bids for a chance to possess the forbidden artifact. But what drove the price all the way to $33 million was a private auction in 2022 where two of the world's most powerful coin magnates battled behind closed doors, driving the value into a realm typically reserved for lost Van Goghs and Faberge eggs. And what makes this story even more astonishing is that, following the sale, the coin vanished again, now allegedly housed in an undisclosed offshore vault, its location known only to a handful of people who've signed multi-million-dollar NDAs to keep it secret, further inflaming the mythos and turning the coin into a kind of modern holy grail, with collectors everywhere scouring junk drawers, change jars, and bank rolls in hopes of finding another. But is there another? Could more exist, still out there in the wild, tucked inside dusty coin folders inherited from grandparents or trapped in long-forgotten vending machines? Some experts believe yes, based on mint records that, while heavily redacted, seem to reference a 1989 DK prototype batch listed as destroyed, yet lacking the usual chain of custody signatures, while former Mint employees have anonymously hinted at missing bags and unauthorized pulls that may have gone unreported during an administrative transition year. And then there's the tale of the retired Mint security guard who claimed on his deathbed that he witnessed a high-ranking official quietly pocket a tray of rejected test strikes during a late-night shift and whisper, "Someday, these will be worth more than gold," a claim dismissed for years until the $33 million coin surfaced and suddenly everything changed, and now the coin collecting community is on fire, with podcasts, documentaries, and entire YouTube channels devoted to uncovering the truth behind this singular anomaly, some suggesting that the coin's unique properties could point to an even deeper mystery involving a Cold War-era silver reserve hidden within the Mint's archives, or an unpublicized deal with private contractors to test new anti-counterfeiting technology, or even, according to fringe theorists, an intentional seeding of valuable coins into circulation to stimulate collector interest during a time when the hobby was rapidly losing young followers. The theories are endless, the facts scarce, but one thing is certain: the 1989 $half has transcended its metallic origins to become a symbol of mystery, of what happens when human error, historical circumstance, and obsessive passion collide, and as collectors across the globe examine every 1989 $half under microscopes and magnifiers, the question remains: will another surface, and if it does, will it match the holy trinity of errors, the silver content, the die crack, and the rotation that turned a 50-cent coin into a $33 million legend, or is the one already found truly the only survivor of a lost era, a freak of history preserved by fate, reminding us that sometimes, the rarest treasures are hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes, the right moment, and the right obsession to uncover their story. So check your change, because the next fortune might already be in your hands. And if you enjoyed diving into this incredible numismatic enigma, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next hidden treasure story that could change your life forever.